welcome to episode 111 of the Woolly Thistle podcast, coming to you from the gorgeous state of New Hampshire. Today is Friday, February 21st, and I'm your host, Corinne. The Woolly Thistle brings your favourite yarns from the UK and Europe and makes them easily accessible in North America. At thewoollythistle.com, you will find the best of British yarn, such as Blacker, Uist Wool, and Jameson and Smith, to name a few. You will also find yarns from Scandinavia, including Ulcentrum, Plötulopi, Rauma, and Tuku Wool. At the Woolly Thistle, we encourage woolly wanderlust, and we share information about where the wool was grown and milled. We specialise in finding yarn made at the source, whether that be on wild Scottish islands or in the Devon countryside. We find it and share it with you. With excellent customer service and beautiful yarns to peruse, you will love shopping at thewoollythistle.com. That's 2 L's in woolly. The Woolly Thistle welcomes and seeks out customers, designers, authors, and yarn makers of all backgrounds, ethnicities, cultures, locations, ages, and orientations who possess a love of wool and craft. We value your work and your contribution to making the Woolly Thistle a safe community. You are welcome here. Let the Woolly Thistle do the international shipping, so you don't have to. Thank you so much for listening to yet another episode of the Woolly Thistles podcast. If you're a returning listener, thank you so much. And if you're brand new to the podcast, I hope you enjoy it. I hope you are made to feel welcome here, because you certainly are. And I hope that you'll be a new listener for a long time to come. And the best way to keep in touch with the Woolly Thistle is to join our newsletter, which you can do at thewoollythistle.com. Several places on the website will let you enter your email so that you can join the newsletter. You can follow us on Instagram at The Woolly Thistle. And of course, on YouTube, we have a bi-monthly shop update. Is bi-monthly right? It's twice a month. I think that's right. And you can find that by searching The Woolly Thistle on YouTube. And of course, remember, all woolies to do with the Woolly Thistle has 2 L's. So yes, it's been a while since I recorded, because when I was meant to record last time, I was really pretty sick. And I've had the plague. Thank goodness it's not the coronavirus, but I've been pretty sick. The kids too, then Jay. And we caught this from the kids at school. We've had a lot of kids out of our little school with this same thing. And pretty much most of my little town has been sick. So finally, I'm back on top, but I think my voice is still sounding a little bit off. So I apologize for that. But I'm feeling great. So, just very thankful to be alive and healthy and doing my knitting. Some of you will have seen on Instagram that I couldn't even knit when I was sick. It's not funny. It's really serious when you can't knit. And I was so close to finishing my sweater. I just had an inch or something left on the last sleeve to do. It was infuriating, but it wasn't happening until I got better. And I did get better and I did finish it. So I'll tell you about that. The kids have been on vacation this week for their winter break. So I have been juggling a lot because, they're home or they're skiing, or I'm trying to get them to come into the shop to help, which they're very resistant about. I don't know why. I think mum knits too much and they're sick of it. But they're 12 and 14. So they're right at that age where they could be actually quite helpful if they decide to be so. So I'm working on that. And we've had a couple of new members join the Woolly Thistle team. And I want to give a quick shout out to them. We have Deb, who is now coordinating the inventory with me, because that is a pretty busy job all of its own. And I needed help with that. And then we have Crystal, who is our new email guru and is helping us answer emails and get emails to the right people so that we can get back to you when you get in touch with us. So I just wanted to say thank you for joining us, Deb and Crystal. It's great to have you on board. And helping keep this very busy little shop going strong. Susie is still with us, though she will be stepping back from the email pretty much for the most part, but she will still be here at the shop helping in other ways. So it's all very busy and it's all happening all the time, it feels like. It's a good thing that my personality is okay with that, because if it wasn't, I think I'd be going really crazy just with the level of busyness and all the things to do, but it actually energizes me. I love it. So thank you for shopping with the Woolly Thistle and keeping me on my toes. Right, so let's get on with the episode. This episode includes Off the Needles, On the Needles, Cal News, Kitty Green Bean update, and of course a shop update. First up is Off the Needles, and like I just mentioned, I was knitting a sweater that languished while I was sick, and this was what I'm calling my vanilla sweater. I knitted this in Rama Finnelgarn, which is their fingering weight yarn. It's a woolly wool from Norway, and it's really lovely. And I hadn't knitted anything substantial with it yet, so I wanted to test it out for myself. And I love it. Yes, definitely 2 thumbs up. It's a fingering weight, but I knitted my sweater on US 6s, which made it a nice loose gauge that has nice movement in it. And I used Anne Budd's book of top-down sweaters, which is sort of a recipe book. It gives you all the numbers based on the gauge you have, which I really like. So I knitted a swatch on my US 6s to see what that would look like. And I liked it. Just a stockinette swatch back and forth. Actually, I knitted it in the round. I always do my swatching in the same method that the garment is going to be in. So if I'm knitting a garment in pieces, or if I'm knitting a cardigan back and forth, then that's how you do your swatch. But if I'm going to be knitting the garment in the round, then I do my swatch in the round too. And there's cheats. There are ways to do a swatch in the round without knitting every stitch in the round. And you can Google that, or you look for it on YouTube if you want to see how to do that. But I'd be happy to talk about that if anybody wants me to in another episode. So I knitted my swatch on US 6s using the fingering weight yarn. I liked what I got, and then I took my stitch count and row count, and I used those numbers to plug into Anne Budd's book. And she has this book, which I think you can get on Amazon. It's called Anne Budd's Knitter's Handy Book of Top-Down Sweaters, I think. And she has recipes for raglan, yoked, saddle sleeve or saddle shoulder, and all, those main different categories of sweaters. And she has all the numbers you need at the gauge you have. So I plugged in my numbers and I knitted a raglan sleeve sweater. I'm calling it a vanilla sweater because it is just that. It's very basic, all stockinette. I knew I wanted it to be a little bit shorter and wide so that it had lots of ease in it, the sleeves as well. And so I chose a 48-inch circumference for the chest. I didn't do any waist shaping or any hip shaping or anything like that. It just straight up and down raglan, and I absolutely love it. When I finished knitting it, I put on the neckband, and that was the last thing to do. I put on the neckband, and then I blocked it, and I just soaked it in warm water. And then I always put my sopping wet blocked items in my washing machine, and I can put it on a spin without any cold water being added. So be very, very careful about that if you're going to do this. You have to make sure you can run a spin cycle without adding cold water, because that cold water will shock the wool, and with the agitation, you're at danger of doing something very unpleasant to your finished object. So anyway, I can spin in my washing machine without adding any water. So I did that. So it's almost, all the water's out. I laid it out on a towel, gently shaped it, massaged it into the shape it was supposed to be, and left it. And then when I tried it on, it was brilliant. I was so happy with it. It fits. It's got the fit that I wanted. And the Rama, it bloomed and filled in maybe gaps between stitches or or what have you. It just became a really lovely, even finish that was softer than when I was knitting with it, and had a lovely soft woolliness look to it. So I am thrilled. It didn't take long to knit at all, especially if you don't count all that time I was not knitting on it. And I have cast on another one, so I will be talking about that more down the pike. I have offered to write this up, which is another reason I wanted to knit another one. I'm going to, I think, write this up as a pattern or as a recipe with full credit to Anne Budd. But this, will be my vanilla recipe for you if you want to knit a raglan sweater like this. It's a really lovely, easy, quick knit that ends up in a garment that you will wear over and over and over, I promise. There's so much excitement and fun in knitting something with lots of lace or cables and lots of patterning or color work. But what do you reach for over and over again? I like to have a few basics and then wear those to death. And you can always dress them up with, with color work, scarves or cowls and things like that. I'm all over the place. I have so many green sweaters right now, and some of them are really lacy and some of them are really cable-y. So, I'm talking out of both sides of my mouth here, but you cannot beat having some simple, elegant pieces that you will wear constantly and that you will always gravitate to. And when you feel really nice in something, I think it shows. You give off an aura of enjoying what you're wearing. So I am going to knit another one, or I am knitting another one, and I think I could live in these things. So I'm excited about it. And of course, the color I knitted mine in is a lovely dusky pink. So it's sort of a darker mauvey pink on grey. And it goes really, really well with my Burra cowl. And my Burra cowl goes with so many things. I love that about it. So yeah, I'm really chuffed with it. It's off the needles. It's blocked. It's been worn several times now. And I'm thrilled. I hope you'll consider knitting one too. And then what else? So on the needles right now, I am well into my Spruce Sprig mittens, which are from Maya's Swedish Knits, which is a book we carry at the Woolly Thistle. And this, of course, is for the Woolly Thistle's mitten cowl, which I'll be sure to talk more about. So yes, I'm knitting these with Let Lopi, which has caused me to assess my own rules for my cowl, because I had said no heavier than a worsted weight. I do have Let Lopi listed as a worsted/Aran weight, so I am cheating, or I'm going against my own rules, and I think some others are also following my lead, so it's okay. It's okay. I'm not eligible for prizes, so I didn't think that it was too bad for me to break my rules. But I think we're just going to be liberal and have everybody knitting what they want to be knitting, up to and including Let Lopi weight. It's a new weight category, Let Lopi. Yeah, so I'm sorry about that. I do realize that I am breaking rules, and if you're diligent about following the rules, I hope I didn't cause anybody any angst about that. I just really want to knit these mittens because they're really cute. Let me tell you about them. They're knitted in Let Lopi, and the ones I'm knitting are in the cream color with little green Christmas trees, basically. And so it reminds me very much of how the weather is here and what New Hampshire is like. We have snow everywhere, and we have all these lovely green Christmas conifer type trees everywhere. And so these mittens are perfect for that. And of course, they are a quick knit. So yes, so that's what I'm knitting on. And, I'm enjoying it. I do want to get, those are colorwork mittens, but they're very basic. I have another cowl in me, especially like my Fulla Snood, which is a cowl designed by Donna Smith. And we sell kits for it here at the Woolly Thistle, but we're out of stock right now. We don't have one of the pieces to the kit. As soon as we do, it'll be back in the shop. But Donna's Fulla Snood is long enough that you can wrap it twice around your lovely neck. And I want another piece like that. And I want it to be similar in that it's two colors and the motif just goes and goes and goes and goes throughout. So I am looking for what yarn I want to knit that with, what colors I want to do it with, and also the motif that I want to do. And I think I've found what I want, and I'm tweaking the charts a little bit to make it work. And then I'm going to get knitting on that, and I'll be sharing that with you too. I'm very excited about it. So that's all that's on the needles, off the needles, and what I'm about to start knitting or what I'm plotting and planning for. I'm sure there's lots of other things that I'm not even thinking about right now, but I think that's good. We started the KAL on the 13th of February. We had such a great kickoff. We had over 246 posts in the cast on thread, and the cast on thread was set up for you to cast on, take a picture of you casting on, and then you'd be eligible to win prizes. We had cast on prizes. We had a pattern from Tori Rowe Designs, who is Tori Searstad. And we also had a pattern donated from Ginny SR, who is Virginia Sattler Reimer. And if you have listened to me before, you will have heard that name over and over because I'm totally enamored with her sock designs and her color work. And she actually has patterns in Kate Davis's book. I think it was the one with all the hats. So she's in that one. What was that one called? I don't remember. I'll have to check. I'll put it in the show notes. So we have 2 lovely cast-on prizes, and we had an additional 2 prizes donated by the Woolly Thistle, of course, 2 $25 gift certificates. So the winners were drawn, and hopefully you have been in touch to claim your prize, either with me, and if you won the patterns with your designer. So now we're off and running, we're knitting. I'm starting to see whole mittens finished already, and we'll have an FO thread up, and maybe that is up by the time you hear this. There is no limit to the number of mittens you can knit during the KAL. So if you're a really fast knitter who finished quickly, feel free to cast on again and start the process over. You will be entered twice or 3 times or however many times. I think we have over 94 different designs being knitted in the group. So there's so much inspiration there. And there's actually an inspiration thread where we asked you to post pictures of your colorwork mittens that you've knitted before, whether it's part of our KAL or not. So there's tons of inspiration. The KAL main thread right now at time of recording is over 700 posts. And oh my gosh, I mean, I love our KALs. They are so chatty. And yes, we're all chatty Cathys in there, which is really, really fun because the prize fairy tends to flit in and out of the chatter thread, sprinkling prize dust here and there. So it's really, really fun to engage on the chatter thread because you might be selected to win a random little gift from the Woolly Thistle. And who wouldn't love that? So be knitting along, be checking in with the group, chatting away. Tell us your troubles, your knitting troubles. Tell us your successes. Tell us whether you love this pattern you're knitting or if it's meh. Tell us what you think about long floats and whether you should catch them on a mitten or not. I actually found this right away with my Spruce Sprig mittens because it's dark green on cream. When I caught the floats, I could see that in the background, and I am a float catcher by nature, but I decided not to catch these floats, though I'm really not sure about that decision because they're mittens and my hands will be going in and out of the mittens, and I will catch those floats, I'm sure of it. However, my theory is that it's let lopey, which will want to, it's a grabby wool, and it will, if I even break one of those long floats, that it'll be fine. The wool will hold itself in place. And over time, there'll be a certain amount of felting on the inside, perhaps. So I'm okay with it. But, I think you do have to think about these things. And you don't want to see all your caught floats going up the mitten. So yes, it's a conundrum. So, tell us what you think about that. And if you're experiencing that yourself, right in there in the chatter thread. And the prize fairy will be popping in and out, sprinkling love and fairy dust and prizes. And it's not too late to join. If you didn't cast on when we did, that's totally fine. Just get your knitting, get your colorwork design that you want to knit, and just join us. Post us a wee note in the thread to say, hello, I'm joining in, and, here's my name, here's what I'm knitting, that kind of thing. And you will be welcomed with open arms by us all. So it's never too late. Just, come and knit with us. That's all. Next up is Katie Greenbean, who will be coming to the Woolly Thistle in April. You'll have heard me talking about this, I'm sure. We're very excited to welcome Katie Green. She is a fast favourite here at the Woolly Thistle, and when we have her items in stock, they tend to sell very quickly. She is an artist with a very distinct style, and she has drawn all the British sheep and put them on things like tea towels and cushion covers and different things like that. So we will have a whole bunch of Katie Greenbean stock here when she is here. And you can come and meet her. She's a lovely, lovely person, and you will enjoy meeting her. So come along to the Woolly Thistle to do that. We are located in Lebanon, New Hampshire, which is very convenient if you're coming by highway because it's right where 89 and 91 intersect. We're right there. If you are coming, you need to purchase a ticket. The date is April 4th, and you need to purchase a ticket for a time slot. We have 3. Starting at 10, that goes till midday. The second slot is midday to 2, and the third slot is 2 to 4. So we ask that you purchase a ticket. That way we can manage how many people are here. We have to adhere to the fire regulations. And you will get some swag for that. You'll get a Woolly Thistle tote bag and some other swag. So it's worth the price of admission. And then you can come into the Woolly Thistle and have a look around, meet Katie, hopefully do some shopping and have a lovely day out. To those of you who have purchased tickets already, thank you so much. It's really helpful to know the numbers we're looking at. We do still have tickets available though. So if you want to come, make it happen. And we will be sending out, everyone who purchases tickets, we'll be sending you out information about what else there is to do here so that you can make a nice day of it, or even a weekend. We have other local yarn shops that I'll give a shout out to, and we have King Arthur Flower. Their base is right here, and there's several nice pubs around and other things of interest. So I think it would be a lovely weekend trip if you're coming a little bit further. I can see we have a lot of people coming up from Massachusetts, other New Hampshireites and Vermonters, and I think some from Maine as well. So do get in touch if you have any questions, but just know that we will be sending out information to help you plan shortly. We're just working on that right now. I think it's time to have a quick shop update. The Woolly Thistle is doing great. Thank you so much. As always, I really appreciate you shopping with us and making the Woolly Thistle into what it is. I really, really love my job, and I'm so grateful to you for helping me make it a reality. Thanks to when you share your purchases on Instagram or other social media using the hashtag the Woolly Thistle, and for just sharing your enthusiasm for what we stock here. It really, really makes a difference, and I really, really appreciate you. So thank you. Just a reminder that we have free shipping on orders of $99 and up. This is down from $120. Currently, this is only for US orders, and I'm sorry if you are outside of the US because of that. But we do ship worldwide. We ship anywhere that you are. So that's fine. We will get it to you. And we really only charge the cost of the shipping. We don't pad that. We do put a couple of dollars on extra just for the price of the packaging, just the basics of that. But otherwise, you're just paying the actual cost of shipping when you are outside the US. Thank you so much for your support of my efforts to make a donation to the World Wildlife Fund for Australia in January. What's happened over there is just a tragedy, and you knitters are wonderful people. You took advantage of the 5% discount that I had, where I'm also giving 5% to World Wildlife Fund. That's the one with the panda on the front. It's a very well-known charity, and I trust that they are doing a good job with their donations. And I'm just waiting for the bookkeeper to finish the books for January, and then we'll get that donation made. And I'll let you know when that's done. But thank you so much for your support of that. Okay, so let's talk about books. I think the first book that we have to talk about is 52 Weeks of Socks by Lina. We got our first round of this in time to get them out on Valentine's Day, which was their official release date. So super chuffed that we were able to turn that around. We had a very short period of time between being able to put pre-orders out to you before we were supposed to receive the books. And it all worked out. So this is a heavy book. It weighs over 2 pounds. I think it's 2.5 pounds. And it's got a gorgeous cloth cover. If you have Lina's knitting notebook, it's the same sort of finish. But this book is much bigger. And inside are all the beautiful photography that we've become very used to in Lina magazine. It's just beautiful. And these socks are from all different designers using all different kinds of yarns. And if you look on the Woolly Thistles YouTube channel, you will see on my latest shop update, I flipped through the book to show you it. And I'm flipping through it now because I kept a copy for myself. And they're just gorgeous. And I love the variety of yarns. There are quite a few yarns that the Woolly Thistle stocks. But I do want to point out that at least 3 of the patterns in the book are in tuku sock, which I'm very excited about. And then there are some socks in Woolly Mammoths natural sock, and we will be getting that here very soon. So keep your eyes peeled for that. That's a bit of a boon for us to have lovely Emma's yarn back in the shop. And I've been waiting for her to have her natural sock yarn available. So I'm excited about that. Of course, the Woolly Mammoth is out of Northern Ireland. And she's a lovely, lovely lass who's doing beautiful dye work. So, and is doing wonderful work with her own yarn as well. So very excited to get that in the shop. But back to the book here. It's a lovely big book. It's a coffee table piece as much as anything. But I think it is an encyclopedia, really, of sock design, and something that we should all aspire to have in our knitting library. So by the time you hear this, we will have opened orders up again. And maybe, I don't know what the rush is going to be this time around, because I'm recording this before we do the pre-orders again. But the first time round, we had a lot of people trying to buy it. And they sold out really quickly, and we were limited in how many we could have. So it does not feel good to me when that happens, because, you know, people are upset and they're disappointed. So to remedy that, we have ordered a lot more. There's no limit on what we can order now, so we have ordered a lot more. And I'm hoping that those of you who were disappointed before are able to come back and purchase the book now. So I hope that has worked out for all of us. It's a gorgeous book. It's just a gorgeous book. As of yet, I don't know if the magazine's coming back. They haven't made any announcements yet. What are your feelings about that? Would you love to see the magazine come back? Yeah, it'd be good to know. Okay, so we also have Maya's Swedish Mittens and Winter Knits from Scandinavia. These are 2 fairly new books in the shop here, and they primarily focus on mittens. But Winter Knits from Scandinavia also has some hats and socks, and their color work, and they're gorgeous. And the book itself is just very, very pretty. Very wintry Scandinavia style with this lovely bright color work. Socks and hats, and of course mittens. So we have a few of those left in. I'm going to be placing a new order just to top them up again. We also have Selbu Mittens, of course, which is that beautiful book that used to only be in Norwegian and was translated into English, which is so fantastic. We have a few of those left. I'll get more into. By Hand 11, as I record this, we don't have any in stock, but they are on their way to me. So we'll have those in again. And I'm very proud to be in there, very excited. And By Hand have been making announcements on their Instagram about where their next issue is going to be coming from. And let's just say it excites me to the nth degree. So go check out By Hand Cereal on Instagram to find out where they're going. And so we have Weished by Kate Davies. We've got lots of those in stock, as well as Shetland Ooh, which is the book done by Kate's husband, Tom, and is basically profiles of all the woolly people in Shetland. Uli Ollie, who is Oliver Henry, is on the cover of that book. It's a lovely book. It includes people like Ella Gordon and Donna Smith, all those lovely people we know, and who we're slightly jealous of because they get to live in Shetland. So yes, that's in the shop. And of course, we have lots of Marie Wallen books. We have all her smaller square books back in stock, which are things like Bloomsbury, North Sea, Windswept, Once Upon a Time. I think that's it for them. I'm probably forgetting one. And then, of course, we have her Gentle, which is her newest book, and it features her British Breeds yarn. It's got that beautiful primrose colorwork design on the front cover. And also in her British Breeds is Wildwood, which was her first book in her own yarn. So we have both of those in stock. We have all her yarn in stock except for two colors, which are wood and quince. Both of those are out of stock, but they are being spun up as I speak and should be with us by the end of February. And once we have those two colors, all the kits will be back and available. But, you can buy individual balls of British Breeds as well. So if you don't need quince or you don't need wood, then there's nothing to stop you from shopping. Also from Marie Wallen, of course, the latest book using Jameson Spindrift is Meadow. It has 7 garments in it. It's a beautiful book with beautiful designs. And we have yarn sets for every single design in the book. And of course, Shetland was her first book using Jameson Spindrift. And we have several yarn sets from that, including Yell and Unst and the Burra Cowl that you see me in all the time when I'm doing the YouTube shop update. So the kits for Jameson Spindrift out of those 2 books will be back in stock just as soon as we receive our yarn, the Spindrift yarn. That's on its way to us. So be on the lookout for that. We will be selling it in kit form for the time being, so that everybody who wants a kit can get their kits. And we may well open it up to individual balls after that. So that worked really well last time. Also on the docket, I'm hoping for Jameson & Smith grab bags to come back, hopefully right here in February. So if you're interested in that, keep your eyes peeled. For the first time ever, we're having a bit of trouble getting our yarn from Shetland. I'm watching the tracking and it's bouncing all over the place. Usually our yarn comes from all the way from Shetland without any problem at all. It's been very smooth sailing, but this last order has been going on a jolly and I can't get it. It's all over the place. So that's the hold up with Jameson & Smith. So if we're low on colors or you're waiting for a grab bag and I'm just not getting to it, that's why we can't get our yarn. We've placed other orders now while we wait for that to finish its trip around everywhere. And so hopefully we will have that yarn in soon. Oh, for goodness sake. Sometimes we're on a wild goose chase, it feels like. All right, what else do I have for you? Oh, Knit Sonic, her knitting source book, Colorwork source book is back in stock. And I'm also getting from her lovely cards that she had designed. They are diverse in nature and I love them. They're important cards and they're beautiful. So I will be stocking those and I'll put them in the shop as soon as they come in. And I am hoping to get her washi tape. That takes a bit longer to get because it takes her a while to get it in from the makers. But as soon as she's able to let me have those, I'll have them in the shop, which will be a lovely addition. And this golden fleece, it's out of stock and I'm trying to get more. I'm not sure quite why we're not able to get it right now, but I'm working on that because I've been working on that since before we were out of stock and now there seems to be a wee hold up. So I'm working that out. Let's talk about yarns. You know that I was talking about Berlin yarns, and we have some of that left. This is such a special yarn, like I was saying. So if that interests you, don't hesitate. Jameson Spindrift will be back in stock shortly. We're just waiting for that to arrive. And when it is back in stock, it will go into kits. And we will be offering all the kits from Meadow and from Shetland, and also a few other things like the seaweed sweater. Or the seaweed slipover, actually. All those kits will be available again just as soon as Jameson Spindrift comes in. And after we have given that all enough time, we may well open it up to odd balls again so that you can just purchase single balls of yarn if that's what you want to do. But we're going to sell it as kits first because kits are very helpful to many knitters so that they get everything they need and they just need to cast on. It's a good way to do it. John Arbon Textiles, we have more knit by numbers DK coming in, and we're still offering the gradient sets, which is 6 skeins, and you get a free copy of their annual book, which is lovely. I'm thinking about maybe doing sets of 6 with all one color, or maybe 2 skeins of 3 different colors. I don't know. I'm open to hearing what would help you with the John Arbon knit by numbers. We keep an awful lot of it in stock. There's so many colors to start with, and we keep a lot of it. And we do sell quite a bit of it. But I just want to make it economical and understandable for you so that you can try this out. Susie, who works here, recently finished a lovely ranunculus for her daughter in this. And it was so soft and drapey. So I am seriously thinking about that as a future project too. We are getting the last few colors that we haven't ever had. I think it's number 111 through 117, something like that, is the colors we've never had. So they are finally coming. And also we will be getting Exmoor sock yarn, hopefully in March. This is a great yarn. It is a sock yarn. It does have nylon in it. I like sock yarns with nylon, I will admit. I like my socks to last. I don't really want to knit a pair of socks and have my heels blow through into giant holes too soon. And I find socks with nylon in them last for years. So if you're that way too, no shame on us. That's a good thing. And this is definitely a woolly yarn anyway because it's coming from John Arbon and it's really good stuff. This is another yarn that's very special to me because it was one of the first yarns I ever stocked at the Woolly Thistle. Back in the days where I just had 3 big tubs of yarn, and one of these tubs was filled with Exmoor sock yarn. I think it's had a reincarnation this time around. It was out of stock for a long time, and I think they have rejuvenated it with some new colors. I'm going to have all the new colors, all the colors they offer is going to be here, and I can't wait. I think that'll get my sock mojo going, that and 52 weeks of socks, right? I did want to mention too that John Arbon has another new yarn just out. You might have seen it on social media. It's Yarnadelic. It's a sport/heavy 4-ply, 100% Falklands Corriedale, and I've had some samples here. So soft, really beautifully soft. And the colors are gorgeous. They're not wholesaling it yet, so I won't be stocking it, but it's a new yarn and we will have access to it as soon as they let us. So that's pretty exciting. I just want to get that on your radar. So yes, new yarns coming to the Woolly Thistle. They will excite you with their sense of place, evoking history and a perfect harmony with the Woolly Thistle's mission to bring you yarns from storied islands and mountains throughout the UK and Europe. Oh, doesn't that sound good? So Berlin Yarns falls into that category. And so does Daughter of a Shepherd. We are finally getting Daughter of a Shepherd here. Very excited about that. And keep your eyes peeled on the newsletter. We'll announce it there when it goes on sale. We have all the colors of Ram Jam. We have our beautiful book, Volume 1, and all of them have been signed by Rachel, so you'll get an autographed copy. And we have a couple of other yarns coming that I'll tell you about nearer the time. So super excited about that. Also, Woolly Mammoths natural sock yarn falls into this category of woolly wanderlust yarn. And this is a natural 100% wool sock yarn from Emma of Woolly Mammoth in Northern Ireland there. She's making her own yarn and she dyes it herself with natural dyes. Beautiful stuff. She has a very loyal following, and I'm very excited and honored to be able to stock her natural sock yarn. It will be the first time that we've had her natural sock yarn in the shop. And this yarn is also featured in a pattern in 52 Weeks of Socks, as well as Making Stories Magazine 3, which is not out yet. It's coming out in March. And we'll have it here during Katie Greenbean's pop-up shop, so you'll be able to see it. But she has yarn in that as well for socks. Her natural sock yarn is in there too. So Making Stories Magazine 3 will be out in March. Looking forward to that. Also at Katie Greenbean's pop-up shop, we'll have copies of By Hand Cereal for the New Hampshire and Vermont edition. And you could certainly use that as inspiration for other places to visit while you're here. Armscott Manor is a beautiful yarn from Warwickshire in England. I think this comes into the Woolly Wanderlust category too, and we're out of her 4-ply, but we do have more DK in the shop now, so check that out. Her sheep are Portland, and she has been working hard to reinvigorate that breed, which almost died out, and they are mentioned in the Doomsday Book, which if you don't know what that is, Google it. It's fascinating. We have Jameson & Smith lace weight now, just in 3 basic colors. But if there's colors of that you'd like, let me know and we'll get it in for you. We also have cones coming in, but they're actually on their world tour of America right now. They're part of that lost shipment. But as soon as it makes its way back to us, we will have those cones and we'll put them in the shop. I'm very excited to share that we are going to do Jameson & Smith grab bags again before the end of February. So we'll have those. We have ordered more stock from Shetland until we get our other shipment that's lost. So we'll have lots and lots of yarn if everything all comes at once, which is, that's how it goes. So we'll be doing grab bags, which is our baker's dozen of 13 balls of 2-ply for the price of 10. And we do try to throw in 2 neutrals, a dark and a light neutral in there as well. So great value. Much fun is had putting these randomly chosen colors together for your grab bags. No 2 are alike. So if you order 2 of them, which lots of you do, they will all be different. You'll have, 26 different colors. That's a really good stash space for your color work. So excited about them coming back. And Blacker, we're getting a huge order of Blacker in. We're going to have all the Lioness. We're going to have all the St. Kilda, all the Gotland, which is doing really well, all the Mohair, the Mohair blend, and just all the Tamar, all the Blacker that we love here should be in really good supply very soon. Well, folks, I think that's it for the shop update. I think that's it from me too. Thank you so much for taking time to join me and listen to me go on about my knitting in the shop. I love spending time with you. This does me no end of good getting this all out and off my chest. I hope you have a lovely couple of weeks till we speak again and that the knitting is good for you. And until we chat again, I think all that's left to say is, if you go out, take your knitting. Bye-bye. That's the end of another episode, but it doesn't have to be over. Thank you for listening to the Woolly Thistle podcast, brought to you by the Woolly Thistle online shop. You can find items discussed in this episode at thewoollythistle.com. That's 2 L's in Woolly. You can find our Ravelry group by searching for The Woolly Thistle. Find our podcast on iTunes or at thewoollythistle.com. You can speak to Corinne at hello@thewoollythistle.com. Follow The Woolly Thistle on Instagram at The Woolly Thistle and join our newsletter for subscriber specials and all the news right on thewoollythistle.com.